Translation, Russian News Report, NTV. This translation was brought to you by Gesner Deslandes from Russia to English. Special Military Operation of Russia. July 3, 2026, 1630. European support enabled Kyiv to strike civilian targets. By Yulia Gamiva, NTV Information Service Correspondent. Friday morning at the market in the center of Takmak, the middle of the working day. It was precisely this time that the Ukrainian armed forces chose to strike civilians with drones in Zaporizhzhia. Photos of the drones are published by the local prosecutor's office, while their wreckage lies next to the dead. According to preliminary data, 5 people were killed and 18 were injured. The wounded were promptly taken to the Central District Hospital. 5 teams of the Melitopol ambulance service also came to help. Diagnoses include mine blast injuries to various areas, starting from the lower extremities. There are also injuries to the abdominal cavity and chest cavity. 4 people have severe craniocerebral trauma. Diagnostic procedures are currently underway, and after the diagnosis is clarified, after assessing the severity of the condition, after dynamic observation in the early postoperative period, individual decisions will be made for each patient. If necessary, additional forces from the Federal Center for Disaster Medicine will be involved. Information from the Don Federal Center for Disaster Medicine, and after triage and direct assessment of the severity of the condition, other evacuation measures will be carried out as needed. The governor of the region, Yevgeny Beletsky, took the situation under personal control. He instructed the government of Zaporizhzhia to immediately begin working with the families of the deceased and to provide all required payments as soon as possible. He also noted that this is a strike on peaceful life, on people who came to buy groceries. Responsibility for this tragedy lies with those who deliberately strike civilian infrastructure. The investigative committee has opened a criminal case on the terrorist attack in the Zaporizhzhia region. Another terrorist attack occurred in the Kursk region. There, an explosion occurred today in the center of Rylsk. A mine was detonated remotely. The car in which the head of the Rylsk district was traveling was blown up by an explosive device planted by Ukrainian armed formations, detonated remotely using unmanned aerial vehicles. The driver of the vehicle, the head of the district, and 2 of his subordinates who were nearby were wounded. According to information from Governor Alexander Kinstein, the head of the district, Vladimir Kovalchuk, sustained a mine blast injury and blind shrapnel wounds to his legs. He is undergoing surgery at the Rylsk hospital. The director of the Administrative Services Department, Sergei Besitin, was at the wheel. 2 other people were injured by the blast wave. The head of the Culture Department and a representative of the Ministry of Emergency Situations were standing on the porch of the building at the moment of the explosion. Their condition is moderate to severe and closer to critical. They are receiving complete examinations. After that, they will be evacuated and placed in the intensive care unit. In Lisichansk, a Gazelle van that was distributing products from an oil plant was attacked by the Ukrainian armed forces, and the day before, they struck a bus carrying 12 people and a private residential sector. According to the head of the LPR, there are wounded and dead. All these strikes would have been impossible without Western support. Europeans supply Kyiv with money, technology, and production capacities, and Kyiv unleashes them on innocent people. The Ukrainian armed forces have intensified inhumane strikes on civilian infrastructure, clearly due to setbacks at the front. Vladimir Putin noted that Kyiv is striking civilians to create informational pressure, to split society, and for simple intimidation. These are attempts by the Ukrainian armed forces to halt the advance of Russian troops on the front line. But this has no effect on the real situation on the front line. The military emphasizes that all individuals involved in these terrorist acts will be identified. Yulia Gamiva, NTV. This translation was brought to you by Gesner Deslandes, Engineer-in-Chief at GlobalInternet.py. If you found this translation helpful, please consider supporting our work. Your donation helps us continue providing accurate, professional translation services for news, speeches, interviews, and more. Support our translation services. Donate via Prism Transfer, 509 4738 to 5663. Email, delance78@gmail.com. Website, https://globalinternetctp-abh7v6tnmskxnplrdcgk.streamlit. Contact info. Phone, 509-4738-5663, Moncash/Prism transfer. Email, delance78@gmail.com. Website, https://globalinternetctp-ab7v6tnmskxnplrdcgk.streamlit.app. GlobalInternet.py, connecting the global market with our expertise. If you need professional translation services for any language, contact us today.